What's up, everybody? Justin here to do another fantasy booking of WCW 2000. This is part 8. Part 8. There will be one more part. It will be part 9. In part 9 will be Starrcade 2000 and the Nitro after Starrcade 2000. This is part 8, where I'm going to book Nitro from late November and a Clash of the Champions right before Starrcade. So here we go. Before I start, I just want to say throughout this entire fantasy booking series of me fantasy booking WCW 2000, I will admit I haven't had a lot of storylines. I just like to book a lot of matches, put them together on a show, and I like to book, and I know how to book a lot of big stars. That's one thing I'm good at, booking big stars against each other. I had a couple of storylines, but not that many. From what I do remember, I think before Great American Bash 2000, I did have a storyline where I had Hulk Hogan in the red and yellow, a part of WCW in a 6-man tag or 8-man tag. I don't remember what it was, but it was a tag match. And I did have Hogan. He was a babyface again in the red and yellow. Right before, I think, Great American Bash. Go back. Watch every part of my fantasy booking of WCW 2000. The big storyline was I had Hulk Hogan turn heel on WCW again. In 2000, I had him turn heel, start the NWO back up. I also had another storyline where I had Eric Bischoff return and announce he's the new owner of WCW, and of course, he went back to being a heel with the NWO. And Bischoff is still the owner as of right now. So here we go. Part 8 Fantasy Booking WCW 2000. This is the fourth week of November. Nitro, November, the fourth week of, as I said, November, the year 2000. Nitro. This is building up to Starrcade. So up first we have Sting. Sting come out. And trying to get Vampiro's attention, Sting comes out. Vampiro, the current World Heavyweight Champion of my WCW that I've booked. So Sting comes out to open the show, kicks it off with a promo and says, basically calls out Vampiro. Wants to fight Vampiro, calls him out, says, where you at? Where you at? I'm waiting for you. Where are you, Vampiro? Sting even turns his back, puts his arms out, says, where are you at? I'm waiting for you. But Vampiro decides to no-show. Having Vampiro no-show would just piss off the fans even more and want Sting to get his hands on Vampiro even more. You gotta leave the people, sometimes you gotta not give them everything. So up next, the first match of this Nitro in the fourth week of November, the final Nitro of November 2000, the WCW US Champion. Diamond Dallas Page defends against Meng. By the way, this Nitro is a themed episode. This Nitro they're promoting as all the titles are on the line tonight. So DDP defends the U.S. title against Meng. Diamond Dallas Page wins and retains. The WCW Hardcore Champion, Sid, also a member of the NWO. Sid defends against Rob Van Dam. Sid wins, retains, but gets busted open pretty bad by Rob Van Dam and a Van Daminator. So RVD lost, but he still looks strong because he busted open Sid. Now for the WCW Tag Team titles, Edge and Christian, members of Team Canada with Lance Storm and Bret Hart. Edge and Christian defend the tag titles against, in a triple threat, against Shane Helms, Shannon Moore, Jamie Noble, and Jimmy Yang. Edge and Christian win. Again, they retain their titles. So 3 title matches so far. All the champions have retained. WCW Cruiserweight title on the line. Eddie Guerrero defends against Kid Cash. Yes, I brought in Kid Cash to WCW because this is fantasy booking. I can book whoever I want to as a part of WCW 2000. I'm not going to take, obviously, I'm not going to take the top stars of the WWF and book them a part of WCW 2000. That would just be really stupid. And I have not booked Steve Austin, The Rock, Jericho, Undertaker, Triple H, Mankind. I've not booked any of them in WCW because I think that would be stupid. Eddie Guerrero, I kept him in WCW in 2000 because I thought he was a great talent and I could have saw him in real life. I really could have saw Eddie staying in WCW if his friends didn't want to leave and say, let's go. There's a contract on the table for all 4 of us. If they didn't want to leave, I don't think Eddie would have left. So Eddie Guerrero defends against Kid Cash. I think Kid Cash, realistically, in real life, I could have saw him jumping ship to WCW. If they offered him more money, the guy would have left. Just like Mike Awesome and Lance Storm. So Eddie Guerrero wins and retains the Cruiserweight title. Now the WCW Cruiserweight Tag Team titles on the line. Jushin Thunder Liger, Ultimo Dragon, my Cruiserweight Tag Team champions, defend against Rey Mysterio and La Parka. Rey Mysterio and La Parka win. So they're the new Cruiserweight Tag Team champions. Up next, and after the match, after Rey and La Parka win, I almost forgot to mention this. La Parka turns on Rey Mysterio and just beats him with chair shots, over and over chair shots to Rey Mysterio. La Parka ends up taking both Cruiserweight tag titles, puts them on his shoulders, and walks out. Because he doesn't want Rey as his partner. So you could say La Parka turned heel. Up next, the main event for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Vampiro defends against Sting's boy, one of Sting's best friends in wrestling. Sting's boy, Lex Luger, gets a World Heavyweight title shot. I'm not a fan of Lex Luger. I am not a fan of him. Never have been. And I barely booked him as a part of my WCW in the year 2000. I barely booked him because I'm not a fan of the guy. And in 2000, Lex Luger, I'm sorry, the guy was over the hill. The guy looked totally bloated, like he's on a million different roids. And the guy couldn't barely work anymore. Couldn't have a good match in the year 2000. So anyways, Vampiro just ends the match and throws a fireball in Lex Luger's face, burns him, blinds him, whatever you want to call it. The match ends, disqualification, Vampiro retains. Lex Luger gets burned by Vampiro. Sting called out Vampiro in the beginning of the show. So Sting is pissed. Sting comes out, running out to the ring to go to the side of Lex Luger. Sting's very angry, very upset. Vampiro jumps over the barricade, runs away out throughout the crowd. So now we go to Clash of the Champions. This is the final show, the final WCW show before Starrcade 2000. By the way, this is part 8 of my fantasy booking of WCW 2000, Clash of the Champions. It's happening on December 3rd, 2000 on TBS, a Superstation. This show has a ton of hyping up Starrcade 2000. And of course, at Starrcade 2000, you gotta have a couple. Not at Starrcade 2000. At Clash of the Champions 2000, you gotta have a couple title matches, because the event is called Clash of the Champions. So up first, for the WCW Tag Team titles, Edge and Christian defend against the NWO, the Outsiders, Hall and Nash. Edge and Christian win when Sid accidentally hits Kevin Nash with a chair and knocks him out. So Edge and Christian win and retain. Sid screwed up big time. So now we have a tag team matchup. Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, the Steiner brothers as heels, back together. Taking on Bill Goldberg, taking on Goldberg and Nature Boy Ric Flair. Goldberg, I'll just give you a preview of Starrcade. Goldberg and Ric Flair are on Team WCW in the War Games match against the NWO. So Goldberg, Ric Flair team up to take on the Steiners. Goldberg, Ric Flair win. Up next, the WCW Hardcore Championships on the line. Sid defends against Wrath. Wrath defeats Sid. Wrath is your new WCW Hardcore Champion. I was always a fan of Wrath. I thought he had a cool gimmick. I don't know if it's a gimmick, but he had a gimmick name, Wrath. I thought the guy had a great look. I thought they could have pushed Wrath a lot more, so I'm going to push him. He's the new hardcore champion. He defeats Sid. And the crowd is super hype, super over for Wrath. Now the main event, non-title match. Non-title champion versus champion. WCW World Champion Vampiro takes on WCW US Champion Diamond Dallas Page. Vampiro wins. Behind the ref's back, Vampiro again uses a fireball, throws it in DDP's eyes, in his face. Ref did not see it. Vampiro covers DDP 1, 2, 3. Vampiro wins with another fireball attack. He did it to Lex Luger. I believe earlier in the year I think I had Vampiro throw a fireball in Sting's face. I forget. Again, go back. Start watching part 1. If you did not watch it, start with part 1. Go all the way up to part 7 and 8. So anyways, Vampiro defeats DDP by basically cheating, throwing a fireball in DDP's face behind the ref's back. After the match, Vampiro's backstage being interviewed, and Sting attacks Vampiro from behind. Sting and Vampiro brawl backstage. Really pretty, like 5 to 10 minute brawl backstage to end Clash of the Champions. The next event I book in part 9. Part 9 of my fantasy booking of WCW 2000. I'll book Starrcade 2000 and the Nitro after. At Starrcade 2000, I have a War Games match. I have a Last Man Standing match. I have Sting getting a world title shot against Vampiro. they really, my opinion, they really should have booked Sting Vampiro as the real Starrcade 2000 main event. I don't know why they did not, but I'm giving you that match for the Starrcade main event for the WCW World Title. Vampiro defending against Sting. And the real Starrcade 2000, that was a mess. Sid against Scott Steiner for the world title. Nobody wanted to see that, even though I liked Sid. And I don't remember anything good about the real Starrcade 2000. The only thing in match I remember that was good was that, I believe, triple threat ladder match, where you had the 3 count Young Dragons and maybe another team. I remember that ladder match was pretty good. Everything else is a blur because it was a mess. Anyways, hope you enjoyed part 8 of my fantasy booking of WCW 2000. Part 9 I will do within the next 1 or 2 days. Hope you enjoyed this fantasy booking series. One final part left. That will be part 9. Again, go back, watch fantasy booking of WCW 2000, part 1 all the way up to part 8 and 9. And I think I booked a lot better matches and storylines and feuds than what the dumbass douchebag Vince Russo came up with. Because that guy, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. If you're a fan of him, you're a dumbass. Because the guy absolutely sucked in WCW as a head of creative. He absolutely sucked balls. The guy's god awful. So anyways, hope you enjoyed these 8 parts so far. 8 parts of fantasy booking WCW 2000. I didn't think I'd do this many parts, but I did book at least out of 12 pay-per-views in 2000. I think I booked 10 of 12 pay-per-views, I think. The only pay-per-views I did not book is August and November. Every other month I did book an entire pay-per-view. Anyways, bye for now, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And hopefully you watch All In. Support All In. Support Cody Rhodes. Support the Young Bucks. Support All In. Order it wherever you can order it. Wherever you're gonna get it from, pay for it and order it. Bye for now.